with the stories affecting Dominica, the region, and the world. This is EmoNews for June 1st, 2026, and I am your presenter, Soanna Gordon, with the headlines. National Youth Council of Dominica elects new executive committee. NECS 4-H Club leads school beautification project. Crime is not glamorous, says PM Motley, as Barbados moves to tackle gangs. Dozens killed in massive explosion in rebel-controlled Myanmar village. And Southeast, Maho, Dubla, and Middleham record victories in DFA Premier League. I'll be right back with the details of the news after the break. First up in local news. June 1st marks the official opening of the Atlantic hurricane season. Don't become complacent in light of below normal hurricane season, says Senior Met Officer Marshall Alexander. This year, a 55% chance of about 8 to 14 storms and 3 to 6 hurricanes is forecasted. Major hurricanes forecasted is between 1 to 3 storms. The Met Officer warned that Dominica is extremely vulnerable and citizens must not become complacent in light of the forecast.
Today, June 1st, marks the official start of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs through to November 30th. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, is forecasting for a below normal hurricane season this year, with a 55% chance of 8 to 14 named storms, 3 to 6 hurricanes, and 1 to 3 major hurricanes expected across the Atlantic basin. However, despite this forecast, Dominica must not become complacent. Our history has shown us that it only takes one storm to make for a very dangerous and devastating season. We continue to remember the impacts of Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria, which caused catastrophic flooding, landslides, destruction of infrastructure, and loss of life and livelihoods across our country. Dominica remains highly vulnerable to flash flooding, river overflow, landslides, rock falls, strong winds, rough seas, and coastal damage due to our mountainous terrains and exposure within the hurricane belt.
Alexander advises all to stay updated via the proper channels.
We are encouraging the public and all sectors to stay updated through official weather information sources. We urge the public to closely monitor information from the Dominica Meteorological Service via radio or website at www.weather.gov.dm and our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Preparedness, early action, communication, and coordination remain our strongest defenses during the hurricane season. Do not allow this year's forecast for a below normal season to change the way you prepare, because it only takes one. Thank you as we continue to pray for a safe and prepared hurricane season.
Here at EmoNews, we remind everyone to review their emergency plans and assemble emergency kits containing essential items such as food, water, medications, flashlights, batteries, and important documents. Also, secure your homes and surroundings. Inspect roofs, clear drains and gutters, trim overhanging trees, and ensure you have adequate supplies in the event of a storm or hurricane. Remember to be vigilant and be prepared. Do not wait until a storm is approaching to begin making preparations. The National Youth Council of Dominica has officially elected its new executive committee to serve for the 2026-2028 term. The newly elected executive members are President Yannick Regist, Chairman of the General Assembly Jemima Mills, First Vice President Dylan Regist, Second Vice President Keanu Winston, Communications Lead Shervin Dominic, Assistant Secretary Treasurer Nicole Eustache, and Executive Committee members Desiree Burnett and Janik Hippolyte. The new team will be responsible for leading the organization's efforts to represent and advocate for the interests of young people across Dominica while promoting youth development and engagement. Congratulations are extended to the newly elected executive committee as they begin their tenure and work to advance the interests of the nation's youth over the next 2 years. The Northeast Comprehensive School NECS 4-H Club, in collaboration with the Dominica Environmental Health Division, Marigot District, successfully carried out its plant and paint school beautification project. The collaboration combined agriculture, environmental stewardship, and school pride, giving students an opportunity to make a meaningful contribution to their school environment. During the first phase of the project, students planted a variety of cash and subsistence crops that will later be used for sale and to support the school's breakfast feeding program. The activity provided valuable hands-on learning experiences while promoting sustainability. The second phase focused on enhancing the school's appearance, with students actively painting tires and planter boxes to create a more colorful, welcoming, and vibrant campus. The club expressed sincere appreciation to environmental health officers Shirlene Davis and Ashley Celestine, who spearheaded the initiative and worked alongside students throughout the day. Gratitude was also extended to Mr. Glenn Louis and Mr. Kel Alexander for their generous donation of seedlings, which contributed significantly to the project's success. The NECS 4-H Club noted that the project reflects the organization's motto, Learn by Doing, as students continue to develop practical skills, teamwork, leadership abilities, and a greater appreciation for community service and sustainable living. The Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, is issuing a call for persons to become members of the association and play an active role in advancing advocacy efforts across Dominica. The organization says membership provides an opportunity for individuals with disabilities to have their voices heard, contribute to decision-making, and work collectively to promote equal rights, accessibility, and inclusion. The call is not limited to persons with disabilities, as explained by immediate past president Judy Sango. According to her, a stronger membership base will enhance the association's ability to advocate on key issues affecting persons with disabilities, and is calling on all Dominicans to join the association and play their part in its advocacy efforts.
We at the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities would like to take the opportunity to invite the general public to join us in our advocacy efforts and to become members of the association. One does not necessarily have to have a disability to become a member of the association. Membership is open to persons from all walks of life, and so we want to extend invitation to join us in our advocacy efforts. And we also would like to remind the general public that disability is everybody's business, and if we are to truly sustain the disability movement moving forward, we need persons from all walks of life to be advocate for persons living with disabilities across the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Sango also spoke to EmoNews about the association's upcoming activities, including the exciting Wheel or Walkathon scheduled for June 28th in Roseau.
Some of the major activities that are upcoming at the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities includes the upcoming Will a Walkathon, which will take place in June. We also have our Health and Wellness Month, which is upcoming in July. We also have the annual National Dollar Day, which is upcoming from September to December. We also have the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which will coincide with our Disability Enlightenment Week here in Dominica.
The Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities remains committed to empowering persons with disabilities and ensuring that their voices continue to be represented at the national level. Now that the 2026 Grade 6 National Assessment has concluded, several companies are beginning to announce scholarship opportunities for students transitioning to secondary school. As part of their corporate social responsibility, businesses across Dominica continue to provide financial assistance to help ease the cost of secondary education for deserving students and their families. One of the first companies to open applications for its scholarship program is Dragon Windows. EmoNews spoke with Nikisha Marshall, Customer Service and Marketing Officer at Dragon Windows, about the origin of the scholarship program.
At Dragon Windows, we believe that investing in education is investing in the future of Dominica. Our scholarship program began as an internal initiative to support the children of our staff members even before 2020. Over the years, we have proudly assisted staff families, including one senior staff member's child for 5 years and another staff member's child for 1 year. In 2022, Dragon Windows expanded this commitment to the wider public by offering scholarships to the children of our valued customers. Since then, the Dragon Windows Scholarship Program has benefited 11 students and their families, helping young people access educational resources and continue their secondary school journey with confidence.
Marshall gave details about this year's application process.
Dragon Windows is once again proud to offer 3 secondary school scholarships to eligible students who have attempted the 2026 Grade 6 National Assessment. To be eligible, the applicant's parents or legal guardian must be a current or past customer of Dragon Windows. Each scholarship is valued up to $600 per year for the period of 5 academic years and may assist with books, stationery, and CXC examination fees where applicable and approved.
Marshall reiterated the company's commitment to Dominica's youth.
It is our way of supporting hard-working students, encouraging families, and investing in the next generation of teachers, engineers, entrepreneurs, healthcare professionals, and leaders who will help shape the future of Dominica. Please note that students who already hold a partial or full scholarship from the Government of Dominica or any private business will not be considered. Application forms are available only at our main office, located opposite the Woodbridge Bay Port in Foncolay. The application deadline is 17th of July 2026. For more information, call 448-0253, 275-7375, 275-7378, or visit our website at www.dragonwindows.com. At Dragon Windows, we do not only build quality products, we help build brighter futures. Thank you.
Again, the deadline for the receipt of applications is July 17th, 2026. The Dominica Guild of Cuban Graduates recognizes its vast human resource and is contributing significantly to educating the general populace. As part of its reorganizing efforts, the Guild organized a very impactful preventive medical health discussion on Friday. Here is Dr. Damian Dublin, member of the Dominica Guild of Cuban Graduates.
The Dominica Guild of Cuban Graduates expresses sincerest gratitude and thanks to all those who made the health presentation on medical preventive care for Dominican men and women above 40 a tremendous and gratifying success. The presenters, Drs. Michael Lawrence and Karen Robinson, moderator, Dr. Griffin Cathy Benjamin, Dr. Janine Dublin McIntyre, who did the vote of thanks, and Severin Mackenzie, who facilitated the Zoom link. We also want to thank all those who participated directly via Zoom and all those who followed the live stream provided by DBS Radio and EmoNews. We want to inform that this is the first of a series of relevant presentations which will be done by the Guild. We realize that the Guild has a tremendous human resource in various areas, and we hope to share some of this professional knowledge with our country, and the world at large. So look out for the next presentation very soon.
Now here is a sample of the discussion concerning men's health and the prevention of dementia.
Every male over 30, before 30 as well, but every male, every woman before 40 and especially over 40 needs to have a doctor you're comfortable with. You need to have a primary care doctor you can speak to. Primary doctor you can discuss issues with. I believe that any male between 40 and 70 years of age needs to have the prostate check annually. Any male between 40 and 70 years of age needs to have his prostate checked annually. I was asked this question recently at a function of Dominicans. So what the literature is showing, first of all, you got to keep yourself active. Keep active, that's one thing. The second thing, you got to keep your blood pressure under control. But one of the most important things is that you maintain and foster social connections. So if you're a widow, and your son or your daughter are in France and your grandchildren are in Australia, and you're living alone, it's advisable that you join a church group, do something, go play, join a domino club, do something that fosters and maintains social connections. This seems to help.
If you missed it, the discussion may be reviewed on EmoNews YouTube channel at your convenience by simply searching Medical Preventive Care in EmoNews. Finally, in local news, the late Jeff Charles has been remembered as a broadcaster who was ahead of his time. That was one of the sentiments shared by fellow broadcaster and renowned cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira during a special edition of Q95 Sports Wrap program dedicated to the late broadcasting pioneer.
What a wonderful person. I think he came before his time. A lovely, pleasant personality, great control of language, very open-minded. And, we must remember that people like Jeff Charles, and I speak of my own self, and I can, I'm sure, link it to Jeff Charles. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have Google. We didn't have ESPN. We didn't have all the technical knowledge. You had to develop yourself by preparation, by reading as many English papers, by listening to the BBC Sports Roundup, so you pick up the information on players and their performances, number of test matches, which county they played for, and things like that. And it's because of that kind of determination and discipline, Charles became what he became by sheer talent, but not just sheer talent. He obviously prepared, and he loved the game.
Host of the program reflected on Charles's remarkable contribution to broadcasting in Dominica and across the Caribbean, highlighting his professionalism, vision, and lasting influence on generations of media practitioners. Charles, who also served as a teacher at the Dominica Grammar School, joined the Windward Islands Broadcasting Service in the 1960s and went on to become one of the pioneers of Radio Dominica, serving as its first manager. Radio Dominica would later become the Dominica Broadcasting Service, or DBS Radio. Charles also earned regional recognition as one of the Caribbean's most respected cricket commentators. In 1975, he was part of the commentary team for the inaugural Cricket World Cup, working alongside legendary broadcasters Tony Cozier and Joseph Reds Pereira. His broadcasting career later took him to London, where he worked with the BBC Caribbean Service in a senior broadcasting role before eventually relocating to the United States. Jeff Charles died on May 23rd at the age of 88 years in the United States. Stay tuned, original news coming up.
Across our Caribbean, we're going digital, working smarter and living safer online.
In Dominica, we don't fall for fake prizes. We check before we click.
In Grenada, we verify before we share, keeping our hard-earned money safe from hackers.
In St. Lucia, we report cyberbullying, protecting our children and each other.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we report scams fast, protecting our neighbors and our communities.
Together, we're building a cyber-smart Caribbean, keeping our people and our data safe, standing up to scams and cybercrime. We stay connected, but always alert. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. Stay smart, stay safe. Think Card TP. Visit cardtpconnect.org.
And now on the regional scene, Barbados Prime Minister Honorable Mia Mottley has issued a strong warning about the dangers of crime and gang involvement while addressing Parliament during debates on the Criminal Gangs Prevention and Control Bill. Mottley stressed that there is nothing glamorous about crime when the consequences are real, cautioning against the perception that guns, gangs, and bravado are symbols of power and success. She warned that the path of criminal activity can lead to devastating outcomes, including loss of life, broken families, and young people becoming trapped in environments that are difficult to escape. The Prime Minister said the proposed legislation is intended to serve as a wake-up call for Barbados, targeting not only individuals who carry weapons, but also those who recruit, finance, shelter, threaten, or otherwise facilitate gang activity. While emphasizing the importance of legislative action, Mottley noted that lasting success in combating crime will require a collective effort from the entire society. What we do in Parliament matters, she stated, but success depends on all of us. The Criminal Gangs Prevention and Control Bill forms part of the Barbados government's broader strategy to address gang-related crime and strengthen public safety across the island.
We need a wake-up call, but it's not going to happen from inside this Parliament alone. What we are doing is essential, but what we are doing is not sufficient. And the success of this nation will be if the majority buy into this and start to live it. And as I say to you, it cannot be that we leave our children to be locked in to a group of people who now take control of them, and who, as this legislation recognizes, will put everything in their way to prevent them from leaving, even when they realize they make a wrong step and they really want to get out. And that's what we are trying to fight against here. And I say to you that many young persons will realize that they can get in easy, and then discover that leaving ain't so easy. Leaving is in fact dangerous, that you're going to face fear, that you're going to have threats, that you're going to face shame, that money gone, that retaliation is part of the order of the day, that pressure will be put on you to keep you trapped.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, has hailed the signing of the contract for the National Digital Health Information System as a major step in modernizing healthcare across the Federation. Dr. Drew said the system will create a more efficient, connected, and patient-centered healthcare network, improving service delivery nationwide. He noted that the project is being developed by local talents through the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association, with support from students of Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. The Prime Minister said the initiative highlights the Federation's capacity to develop innovative, world-class solutions while advancing its vision of becoming a sustainable island state. The National Digital Health Information System is expected to improve healthcare coordination, access to patient information, and overall efficiency within the healthcare sector. And finally, in regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, approximately 5,000 maxi taxi operators are expected to halt services today as part of a planned 3-day protest over long-standing grievances. The strike began at 5 a.m. with a motorcade from Taruba to Port of Spain, where drivers will show solidarity in support of their demands. The disruption is expected to affect thousands of commuters who rely on maxi taxis across 14 transport zones, forcing many to seek alternative transportation. Concerns have also been raised about potential impacts on business productivity, the economy, and school attendance. Association of Maxi Taxi Trinidad and Tobago Secretary Vikash Kisundov said the boycott was a last resort, acknowledging that working-class commuters are likely to be hardest hit. "We didn't want to reach this stage, but things have come to a breaking point," he said. Some of the Maxi Taxi Association demands: increase the highway speed limit for maxi taxis from 65 km per hour to 80 km per hour. Address escalating crime affecting operators and passengers. Crack down on illegal private hire taxi operations. Pay outstanding monies owed to drivers for transporting school children. Upgrade and improve maxi taxi hubs and terminals. Create a system to allow operators to make national insurance systems contributions, and deliver on commitments made during meetings with transport officials. EmoNews will provide updates as the story unfolds. And that's all for tonight's original news. We'll be right back with international news. And internationally, at least 55 people were killed and dozens more injured following a devastating explosion in a village in Myanmar's Shan state near the Chinese border. The blast occurred on Sunday in Kang Tat village, located in Nam Kang Township, in an area controlled by the Tang National Liberation Army. According to sources on the ground, the victims included at least 25 women and 30 men, although casualty figures vary among reports. A massive plume of smoke was seen rising over the village shortly after the explosion, which left a large crater and widespread destruction. Images and videos from the scene showed shattered buildings, charred debris, and damaged trees scattered across the area. The Tang National Liberation Army said the explosion was accidental and involved explosives used in mining and quarrying operations. In a statement, the group expressed condolences to the victims and acknowledged that many residents lost their lives, suffered injuries, and experienced damage to their homes. Residents described scenes of chaos and heartbreak in the aftermath. Some initially believed the explosion had been caused by an airstrike. Reports indicate that children were among those killed and that hundreds of homes were damaged, affecting much of the surrounding community. One resident who survived with minor injuries said she escaped death by chance after remaining in her bedroom moments before the blast. She described hearing people crying out for loved ones amid the devastation, saying, "The scene felt as if the world had come to an end." The tragedy has also raised concerns about the storage of explosives near residential areas, with residents calling for answers and accountability from authorities. The Tang National Liberation Army is one of Myanmar's most powerful ethnic armed groups and has been engaged in conflict with the country's military junta. Mining activities are a major source of funding for many armed groups in the region, where safety standards are often limited, increasing the risk of deadly accidents. Oil prices climbed more than 2% after Israel announced an expansion of its military operations in Lebanon, raising concerns about regional stability and potential disruptions to global energy supplies. Brent crude rose to US $93 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate increased to $89 per barrel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said troops had been ordered to push deeper into Lebanon, despite a ceasefire declared in April, fueling concerns over renewed tensions involving the Iran-backed Hezbollah. Analysts at Goldman Sachs warned that while supply disruptions could push prices higher, weaker demand from China and Europe could limit future gains. And finally, in international news, Tensions between the United States and Iran escalated over the weekend as both sides exchanged military strikes, even as negotiations continue on a proposed agreement aimed at extending a ceasefire and reopening the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. According to the U.S. military, American forces carried out what they described as self-defense strikes against Iranian radar command and control sites after Iran allegedly shot down a U.S. drone operating over international waters. U.S. Central Command said fighter aircraft also targeted air defense systems, a ground control station, and 2 attack drones that posed threats to regional shipping. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, later claimed responsibility for a strike against a U.S. airbase allegedly linked to operations against Iranian targets. The latest exchange comes as President Donald Trump seeks revisions to a proposed agreement designed to extend the ceasefire and pave the way for broader negotiations. Reports indicate that Trump is pushing for stronger commitments from Iran regarding its nuclear activities and guarantees for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian officials have signaled that any agreement must protect the country's interests and rights, while maintaining that they do not trust U.S. assurances without concrete outcomes. The ongoing uncertainty has continued to impact global energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz remains a vital shipping route for global oil supplies, and disruptions have contributed to elevated oil and fuel prices worldwide. Despite the renewed military exchanges, both Washington and Tehran have indicated that diplomatic efforts remain ongoing, raising hopes that a broader agreement can still be reached to prevent further escalation in the region. And that's all for tonight's news package. Stay tuned. Sports is up.
New game in town. Get ready to match 5 and you can win 10K. Let's go. Play with just $2. Match 5 numbers from 1 to 29 to win. Draws every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. It's easy, fun, and local. Match 5, your local jackpot game. Dominican National Lottery.
First up in sports news, the St. Mary's Academy, SMA, continued its dominant run in the sports division secondary schools under-15 boys basketball championship, defeating the Dominica Grammar School DGS 52-26 to remain the only unbeaten team in the competition. SMA, led by Zane Thomas, handled the pressure well and proved to be the stronger team throughout the contest. Thomas led all scores with 15 points, while team captain Carter James added 10 points. Nares Seja contributed 9 points, while Quentin Tong chipped in with 8 points for the victorious SMA side. For DGS, Janeel Williams was a force defensively, recording several impressive blocks. However, he was unable to impose his usual dominance on the offensive end and finished with just 5 points. Kieran Thomas led DGS with 9 points, while Degray McPherson added 8. And with this latest victory, SMA has secured its place in the championship final, which is scheduled for Friday, June 5th at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. In more basketball news, the Spurs punched their ticket to the finals after defeating the defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, 111-103 in a dramatic Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Victor Wembanyama played a major role in the victory and earned Western Conference Finals MVP. Meanwhile, the Knicks are making their first NBA Finals appearance since 1999, after sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Led by Jalen Brunson, New York enters the championship series riding an 11-game playoff winning streak. And finally, in tonight's sports news, several exciting matches highlighted the latest round of action in the 2026 Dominica Football Association Premier League, as Southeast, Maho Soccer Strikers, Dubla, and Middleham United all secured important victories. Southeast collected all 3 points with a convincing 3-0 victory over Bafe State. After a scoreless first half, Southeast found their rhythm in the second period with goals from Javid George, Darren James, and Taran George. The win continues Southeast's climb up the league standings, while Bafe State battled hard but were unable to find a breakthrough. In the other match, Maho Soccer Strikers strengthened their position near the top of the table with a 4-2 win over We United at the DFA Technical Centre. Francis Luke stole the show with a hat-trick, while Jan Timothy added the 4th goal for Maho. We United responded through Jahil Alexander and Addison John Baptist, but could not overcome Maho's attacking firepower. And defending champions Dubla FC maintained their unbeaten start to the 2026 season with an emphatic 8-0 victory over Mighty Avengers at Almond Park. Brielle Thomas and Anton LaRoque each scored twice, while Savio Ansem and Marcus Bredas added to the tally in a dominant display that further cemented Dubla's status as one of the league's top contenders. And Middleham United secured their first points of the 2026 Premier League campaign with a hard-fought 2-1 victory over Harlem United at the DFA Technical Centre. Goals from Marcellus Bonney and Josima Gustave gave Middleham the advantage, while Jalil Daniel pulled one back late for Harlem United. Middleham went on to claim their first win of the season. EmoNews congratulates all of last week's winners, and we look forward to even more exciting matches in the coming week. That's all for tonight's sports package. Stay tuned, the weather report's coming up next. This has been Emo Nightly News for June 1st, 2026. I am your presenter, Soana Gordon, and I'll be back with you tomorrow to bring you more details of news shaping Dominica, the region, and the world. Do have a lovely evening. Goodbye.